And it doesn't take rocket science to do that. If you're going to produce good meals, then you can charge the right price. And if you're going to serve organic, you serve it at premium price. And our customers expect that these days. They expect to pay it because they do on the high street. So what I would say today is that we need to work together, everybody in this room. And we need to do more of that. It's the collaboration is the key word for the future. It's no good us catering managers sat in offices in all the hospitals or universities doing our menus. And we're not sustaining the food chain or the security of it. We need to work together. And my friend from the Royal Marsden Hospital, the dietitian there and the thing, she knows that we've been working together as hospitals in purchasing local food. And we've managed to do free-range eggs and meat and God knows what. But we need to have everybody else doing it. It's no good us doing it in Chelsea. We need everybody. And the health service really needs a revolution on buying food. The problem is it's outsourced and a profit element comes into it all the time. As soon as you bring a profit element into procurement, out goes the healthy and the cost effectiveness of that food. That's what I believe anyway. So the future is a positive way. We're all going to work together. We're all going to talk together more. So we want to work with suppliers on actually determining what's on the menu, because what's being grown out there is important. It's no good me doing a menu in my office and nobody's going to grow it and it's going to cost a fortune to get it from New Zealand or Australia. It's got to be British, local, regional procurement with one menu. The NHS must do, like everybody else who's successful, is come together and do one menu, one procurement for all. So I find the small number of years I've got left in the health service is challenging, and we must work together.
Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you. Jane.
Inevitably, I'm going to reiterate some of what's been said by the others, but I think the rules of presentations, if you're ever trained to do presentations, is that you have to tell your audience everything 3 times. So I'm not going to make an apology. Now, I'm worried that the CSR, Comprehensive Spending Review, will mean abandoning CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility, in the public sector. I came across a new term today, and it kind of illustrates the fact that we seem to be drowned in a sea of acronyms. Coca-Cola are now calling their programme CRS. I don't know why, but it stands for Corporate Responsibility and Sustainability. I always thought that CSR encompassed sustainability, but there you go. So whatever we're going to call it, and Bill has been really helpful about that. What can you do to save money and act sustainably and responsibly? There's been mention of market testing today and outsourcing. I'm not advocating outsourcing, but I am pragmatic. The 2 largest food service operators have said publicly that sustainable procurement standards for the public sector would be welcome. Now, we've heard today that we're not necessarily getting them. We're getting the government buying standards, but they have been welcomed by these 2 large contractors. They've said that they will help those contractors to buy more competitively, and one of them has said that those standards will make buying at worst cost neutral. So make what you will of these statements, because these contractors see the public sector as a growth market. But I have seen some excellent examples of sustainable procurement in my work auditing the supply chain for the caterers at Oxford Brookes University. I would encourage you to work with the private sector as outlined by Paul Kelly this morning. If you must outsource, as Bill said, put the onus on your contractor to meet your sustainable food requirements and to demonstrate that their own environmental management practices will deliver savings in resources and costs. You can make significant savings by training staff throughout your organisation in all your catering units to change their behaviour. There's a lot of evidence that people are doing a lot of work on resource efficiency in their head offices, or their corporate headquarters or whatever you have. But this has got to roll out into all the units in order to be effective. It doesn't cost you anything if you have a training programme to introduce sustainability, and you can make immediate savings for no expenditure, i.e. revenue savings on your utility bills for no capital expenditure. And if you have a little capital expenditure at your, if you're able to make some capital expenditure, you can make much greater savings in resources. But of course, don't forget to monitor those savings, because otherwise you won't know about them. Finally, all I want to say is that there's probably nobody left in this room who doesn't know where to start. There's an awful lot of advice out there, but I would like to extend a small offer that if anybody really doesn't know where to start, come and see me. I'll give you a day's free consultancy just to point you in the right direction. So there's an offer.
Mm-hmm. Very generous offer too.
Very generous, yes.
Thank you, Jane. Okay, can I open things up now? I guess some of what's been said might be controversial, and some of, you may want to take issue with that, or make comments, ask for more detail. So can I open things up and ask for your contributions, your thoughts on what you've heard, whether you agree, whether you think that there are other challenges and other opportunities if we want to get efficiency and sustainability.
Cheers. David Nuttall, Harper Adams University College, Catering Manager. Mike, you mentioned about, when profits talked about, then procurement becomes difficult and things go out the window when we talk about, sustainability, ethical values, that kind of thing. Yet Jane, you said that, not to dismiss outsourcing, but surely by outsourcing, you're going to have companies coming in looking for big profits, the likes of Compass, Sodexo, that kind of thing. Mm. That seems to contradict. Can you explain a bit further?
Well, I think it will depend on the circumstances. You can outsource and you can get a reasonable cost. It doesn't mean that you've got to take big profits. I can only tell you my experience of working with people like Sodexo when I was a catering manager. Overnight, my costs went up 30%. And in those days, I was buying over £1 million worth of food. Well, it doesn't take rocket science to show what sort of profit is being made on procurement. And also, if you have something that's outsourced, which I've got nothing against, because I think we should be working with them as well. People like Compass, Sodexo, and all these people, and the supermarkets do some things very well, and we need to work with them. It doesn't mean we have to work in isolation. But I think if you're outsourcing a service, you need to actually monitor it right, and you have to have an open relationship with actually what is going to be charged for you. For example, our sister hospital in the trust is outsourced to IS Mediclean. Now, they get every meal, every patient that's in bed. But I know that only 70% of my patients at any one time are eating. So I think it's ways and means of actually monitoring that outsource to get, as somebody mentioned, value for money. And I think we've all been too greedy. I mean, we're at 30% of what I procure now for the hospital is local to the southeast, and most of it comes from farms in Kent. And it's cheaper produce than going to the market or to the nominated supplier. So I think we've got to reinvent, really, the procurement in the public sector. We've got to go away from all these rules and regulations, because there's 139 pages on the government OGC on how you procure food in the public sector. Well, nobody in my kitchen or a manager in the health service, or whether it's universities or anything, got time to read all that. And I think we're making it too complicated. We need to bring it back to basics, where I was in 1964. And I was a darn sight, younger in those days, but I've still got the passion And I think we've got to say, where is that taste? Where is that good food? It's out there somewhere, but it's getting lost in the profitability of things. Does that explain it?